What's up, everybody? Just wanted to make a quick video really just explaining the new 19th TERA type Stellar, since to be honest it's kind of confusing and convoluted and a lot of people don't know exactly how it works, so this video hopefully should help with that issue. But first I want to go over a couple of important things to note about the Stellar typing. One, this is exclusively a TERA type. There are no Pokemon that are like naturally the Stellar typing. This is a TERA type exclusively. You have to terrestrialize into Stellar to get these Stellar properties. Even the new legendary Terapagos is a normal type. It doesn't get Stellar attributes until it terrestrializes. So this is exclusive to TERA. Another thing, even though this has been referred to as the 19th TERA type, it's less of a typing and more of like an offensive TERA mechanic. I think that'd be like a more accurate way to describe it, because a Stellar type doesn't actually change your defensive profile at all. You keep all the same weaknesses, all the same resistances, regardless of what you were before. Like if you Stellar TERA your Iron Hands, for example, it's still weak to Psychic, still weak to Ground, still weak to Fairy or whatever. You're still going to resist Dark and Steel and Electric. Like, nothing actually changes for you defensively when you TERA into this typing. This, of course, is going to make it pretty unappealing for a lot of Pokemon, since there's a lot of Pokemon that really are using TERA more defensively. So yeah, those Pokemon probably won't really take advantage of the Stellar type. And then another thing, the way Stellar interacts with Tera Blast versus how it interacts with other offensive moves is completely different, and this is probably where most of the confusion is coming from. It's like it completely changes based on whether or not you're using Tera Blast, and that's what I'm gonna get into in a sec. Alright, so I'm on Showdown, so let's kind of go over exactly how this works. We have Volcarona here to kind of explain things. So the way the Stellar TERA works offensively is, like we said before, doesn't offer you anything defensively, but the way it works is it basically gives you a TERA boosted move for each type move you have, but you can only use each one once. So, for example, if you TERA fired your Volcarona, you would get a 2x boost on, Fiery Dance here, right? It'd be 160 BP after stab as opposed to 120. Or if you did it for Giga Drain, you'd get a 50% boost on your Giga Drain. You get basically one stab Giga Drain. Or if you were TERA Psychic, you get one stab Psychic, 50% boost on that. That's how it would work normally. So the way it works with Stellar is you would get a TERA boosted move, but one time. You would only get it once. So you'd get one boosted Fire Dance, one boosted Giga Drain, one boosted Psychic, and that's it for the entire game. Which, I mean, it's kind of similar to maybe gems. It's kind of like having 3 gems in a sense. But you can't spam it as much, right? You can't just throw out boosted Fiery Dances the entire game. Also, it is per type, not per move. So if I replace this with Fire Blast, it's not oh, I get one boosted Fiery Dance and one boosted Fire Blast. It's per type. You get one boosted Fire move, one boosted whatever type move. So it doesn't matter if you have multiple moves of the same type. It's not going to change that. So this is something that could have some use on maybe some setup sweepers on stuff like Volcarona, maybe stuff like Roaring Moon. Maybe you're just hey, I want one boosted Acrobatics to take out Tusk, and then I just can have one boosted Dragon one move, one boosted Steel, Dark, whatever other coverage you have on your Moon. Maybe something like Excalibur can use it in a similar way. It could be useful, but I do think it's pretty niche. I don't think there's a lot of Pokemon that would prefer this to a normal TERA, or a regular TERA, because you already are getting the defensive attributes, but also if you get your boosted move baited out, if they swap around it, you're basically losing the value of your TERA, after you click that move. So I think it could be strong on a couple Pokemon, but I do think this is kind of niche. Something to note though is Terapagos, the new legendary, ignores this rule completely. Terapagos gets boosted moves for every type for the entire game. So it basically has like TERA everything. You know, it's a new broken legendary. They gotta have it break all the rules of the game. So it's really good on this, but on other things, it's probably more situational. Still could be strong, but there's a lot of Pokemon that won't use this. Now, yeah, obviously we talked about how it's like you know, you get the boost one time for each move, but the way it works for TERA Blast, specifically, if you have the move TERA Blast, this is completely different how it interacts with Stellar. So, if you have Stellar TERA Blast, yours TERA Blast will become the Stellar typing. The Stellar typing offensively is unresisted by every single type in the game. Doesn't matter if you're Steel, you're Dark, you're Ghost, you're Psychic, you're Water, doesn't matter what you are. It is a neutral hit on every single Pokemon in the entire game. Completely unresisted. This, in theory, seems like it'd be really strong, but there are some pretty major downsides to using Stellar TERA Blast. So for one, Stellar TERA Blast, the first time you use it, will be 120 BP. This is the equivalent of like a stab regular TERA Blast, 120 BP. After the first time you use it, for the rest of the game, it is only 100 BP. And this isn't like 100 BP with stab, this is like 100 BP period, which is weaker than like a normal like TERA Blast with stab would be. The other big downside is that every time you use it, you drop your attack and special attack by 1. This is probably going to kill it on almost every mon. The fact that you lose attack and special attack for using a move that's not even like that powerful it's a killer for like Stellar TERA Blast. Like, yes, it is nice that you have like a move that's unresisted that nobody can like, you know, can wall, but that's such a big penalty to pay for it. I guess the other thing I forgot to mention though about Stellar TERA Blast is this move is super effective against other Pokemon that Terra. So regardless of what they terrestrialize into, if they got that stupid little hat or big hat on them, they will take super effective damage from Stellar TERA Blast. So this is a good anti-Terra like move in that sense, but the penalty is so high for it, unless you're Terapagos, because Terapagos doesn't have any of these negative effects. It stays the same power, it doesn't go down in power, and it doesn't drop its attack and special attack, like for the Starstorm, whatever. But besides like that exception, I would say there's a very big like cost to using it, even though against other Terra Pokemon it's actually strong. The exceptions to this, like two of the big exceptions to this obviously though, are Superior and Enamorus. So these Pokemon are contrary Pokemon, which means they actually will get an attack and special attack boost every time they use Stellar TERA Blast, which even though it's not like that strong, like I said, it's only 100 BP with no stab on it. Just the fact that they have contrary does make it a little bit more viable on them. Superior a little bit less so, because Superior does already have like a really good way of boosting its special attack. Like you could throw out like 130 BP stab Leaf Storms to get +2 special attack. So this is already like better than spamming TERA Blast. But for Enamorus, which doesn't actually have any way of boosting its special attack with a damaging move, this is actually like potentially a really good option for special sets, or even like mixed sets with maybe Superpower and Moonblast, since you're going to get boost to attack and your special attack. So I could see this having some use on a couple of Pokemon like this, but I don't expect to see Stellar TERA Blast on most mons. So all in all, it's not a... It seems like this is going to be pretty niche. It could be strong on setup sweepers, or pretty much any Pokemon that abuses coverage really hard could get a lot out of Stellar. But because it doesn't offer defensive utility, and because even offensively it's, you know, kind of limited because it's, you know, one time, I'm not sure just how much like Stellar will take off in VGC or OU, to be honest. But yeah, it could have some use. I'm just not sure yet. Honestly though, this is definitely not anywhere near as broken as I thought that this would be, kind of leading up to DLC. Leading up to DLC, I was like convinced that this stellar typing was gonna break the game. I was just like, no way Game Freak's gonna make a new typing and not have it be completely busted. But it seems they had a lot of measures. You know, it seems like they were definitely very scared of it being too powerful, and they put a lot of like downsides to it. But you know, I hope that this video does explain how the new mechanic works. I know there's like a lot of different parts in how it works, but yeah, I hope this video helped anybody who was confused on it. So yeah, leave a like if this video helped you out, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.